Welcome back to the program. It's segment 4 of the first hour. Just tuning in, this is Real Estate Chalk Talk. We're broadcasting from the Rack Shack Barbecue Studio. Thanks for listening. I'm Keith Ittner Sr. here in the studio with Keith Ittner Jr. and Kelvin Kaemingk. You can give us a call. Remember, the number is 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. Kelvin Kaemingk, the money man. He's got the best doggone mortgage rates in the United States of America, I swear.
Wow.
I swear.
You know, I'm all
the
thrown
accolades.
off. Yeah, like that. I didn't get my money intro, so now I'm like not even set up right. So
it's not mentally. I'm
going to try and bring it back.
All right.
Now. We're going to
reel
hit
it
some
in.
things.
Reel it in.
There we go. Oh,
there you go.
Now I'm good.
Now we're into it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the money markets this last year. What do you think rates wise? I mean, you guys are very
Rates were great.
knowledgeable.
Rates have been great. I mean,
You know,
what do
you look
say?
at the beginning of the year to the end of the year, we moved up maybe an eighth in rate, eighth to a quarter, so nothing dramatic, ebbed and flowed throughout the year. So 2016 forecast, Senior, what are you thinking for rates? Give me your, hopefully unlike your prediction from the Fed, have this one be accurate.
I think that rates will be somewhere between where they are right now to like 4.5 maybe.
Okay,
4.5%.
that's probably where I would go as well. You know, when you look at, I'll go through an article. We'll start. We
So
have
you're
a
thinking
number.
no higher than a quarter percent higher.
Probably. Well, right now we're at 4, right? Because of this last week with the market correcting quite a bit, or not even correcting, having the worst, start of a year.
But you locked one yesterday at
3.875. Yeah.
3.875.
Yep. So that was good.
Can you give me a lock and shop?
I can get you a lock and shop. We're actually coming out with a program. We're using our hedge to actually do that.
Wow.
We don't have it all done yet, but we're going to be announcing that coming up shortly.
Except with Keith, it'll have to be good for 2 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't have that long a period.
Well, I've already taken 2 years, so.
Okay, so he's
What was interesting, though, with interest rate predictions, the Chicago Federal Reserve President Charles Evans said on Thursday that the Fed is saying that they'll probably have 4 rate increases over the next year. He thinks over and
When
go
did
up
he
to a
say
point
that?
on Thursday.
No kidding?
Yeah.
That's why the market's crashed.
Well, I don't know. He is saying that maximum of 2 probably is what they should be. He said the Fed fund rate should be probably around 1%. Right now it's at a quarter. It was at 0 for years. They moved it up a quarter, and now the Fed is saying the consensus on the Fed is that they'll move it up to 4 times over the next 12 months. And he's saying, hey, we can't have that big of an increase because it's going to have a negative economic impact. And I kind of believe that he's right. So I think we'll see 2 to 4 increases this next year. That will impact rates, and I think rates will go up to that. I think we'll float between 4 and 4.5 throughout 2016. And before we always thought, well, we're going to be at 5. We're going to be at 6. I really don't think so, and there's going to be a lot of pressure just from a political standpoint in an election year as well, just to make sure that the economy looks as good as possible. And that kind of runs into our next topic, just on gas, right? You have a beautiful new truck. It's costing you nothing to fill that thing up right now, right?
It is, yeah. It's I don't pay too much attention to it, but it's funny to me to drive down the road and see, Mike in our last segment said 165 or 169
right.
or something like that in the prior lake, and then I drive through Eagan, I see 177, 171, 179.
Yeah.
And those prices are just odd to see again, as we were up to I don't even know where it was to peak. What, $3.50?
Almost
We're
$4.
just under 4.
Yeah.
We tipped over 4, and then we've come all the way back down. I mean, oil prices being at $32 per barrel.
Wow.
Here's what's interesting about that, and it has to do with the exoburbs, the new markets, and some of those Northfields and some of those outer line, Carver County. When we were building, and this goes back to, I suppose in the like 2006, 7, something like that, gas was under $2 a gallon.
Yeah.
And I can remember having the conversation with the builder, because we were building at that time in Northfield, when gas went over $2 a gallon. I said, we ran the numbers on, because the gas had gone up substantially, like 25 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
I said, now you just take that and you figure that you're a consumer now, and that you want to move to Northfield because there's nice houses down there, it's a nice community and all that, but you've got to commute. Take into consideration the number of miles you're going to put on your vehicle, the time you're spending in the car, the additional cost that 25 cents a gallon is gonna pull out of your pocket every month, and it came up to like $15,000 or $20,000 that we had to be priced below our competitor that was building in Farmington or Apple Valley and whatnot, because that's how much you had to pay them to do that. And
Sure.
Or they had to really want to be in Northfield, which, you know, it's a nice town and all that, but nobody really did.
Yeah, so pretty interesting there. What do you think the impact of the, you know, where you were kind of going to is, are people going to move further out now because of the low gas prices? But don't you guys think this
the
is a
flash in the
blip?
pan deal.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
don't.
temporary.
And what do you think regarding China? So China's economy is driving, you know, you have to look at world economics to see where things are going, and China's sliding hard, right?
China beats us on everything, you know, their leaders are smarter than our leaders, and they beat us on everything. That's what Trump says.
That's
you
what
know.
Trump says.
Had to get it in there.
So what's your thought? Once they recover, we'll start.
Absolutely. China this is the advantage that they have. In the United States, you know, we've got controls, we've got the SEC, you got this, you got all these things going on, a lot of political infighting. People won't do things because of politics. China doesn't have any of that. You know, it's a dictatorship. So if the governing authorities in China, the head of the Communist Party or whatever it's called, decides they want to do something, they just do it. And everyone else is like, well, tough beans, you know, live with it. And what the result of that is, when they fix something, it's fixed right now, because they don't have to worry about the ramifications of it. Plus, China is the largest lender on the planet. So they have money that's owed to them by virtually every country on the globe. And so they will make their change, adjust their economy, weaken they weakened the yen or whatever it was, and that what they did earlier. So that was, you know, some of the crisis.
Yeah.
But once all that kind of shekels through, then I think they'll be back and running again. They have so many people, you know, that an economy there has to grow almost by default, just to keep pace with the population growth. That's pretty good built in.
So are you advocating for executive order then, or?
I'm not. I'm just stating a fact of how that runs, where we have to go through a more finessed, and it takes longer, and there's all kinds of things. For them, it's quick, boom. It's shocking when it happens, but you know, they make the move because they don't have to worry about the consequences so much.
Interesting.
So I think you'll see China come. You know, they'll stabilize. The economy will stabilize. Our real, you asked about interest rates, and whether or not the Fed raises interest rates a quarter is not going to impact mortgage rates. I mean, I just don't see it as impacting mortgage rates. What's going to impact mortgage rates is the overall economy that's affected by that increase.
Correct.
So, and that's what you're seeing now. The mortgage rates were ticking up. It appeared as though the economy was strengthening. They raise rates a quarter, the economy tanks, mortgage rates come right back down again.
And that's
Right.
what you meant in December, really, right?
Exactly. That's the part that he cut out of the clip.
That's the part that we'll cut out of the clip when
Yeah.
we play that.
Yeah.
So, well, let's touch on the economy real quick. Jobs numbers came out on Friday, and they were, again, better than expectations. They expected 275,000 new jobs. It came in at 292,000.
I just have a question on that when you're done.
Yeah. Unemployment rate is at 5%, and 62.6% is the labor participation rate, which is increasing. But that's the thing where, depending on what channel you're watching, they either focus on it or they don't even talk about it. So
the question that I have for you is, how many jobs are the rate was flat, 5%, 5%, didn't change, right?
Correct.
But we added more jobs.
Correct.
Well, they're looking at December when we always add jobs because it's temporary retail jobs. They're going to get laid off again this month. So my question is, how many jobs were added last December? Do you have that number?
No, I don't have.
So if we added 300, you know, we're patting ourselves on the back. Oh boy, 300,000 jobs. Well, we added 300,000 last December too, but they all washed out in January. Then who cares? You know, that's not good news.
Yeah, but the trend is that the economy is better. The economic indicators are that's better. Jobs growth has been there all year.
But from a seasonal standpoint, then, how do you think that factors in with the December job growth that we see to, like, say, spring or summer job growth, where we have seasonal employees now going back to the work? Are those factored in? I mean, does that even itself out, or?
Yeah, I never see that talked about. You know, I see the number. They want to focus on the number. 300,000 is a good number to focus on, so let's talk about that. let's not talk about that. That's the same number that it was a year ago, and those jobs went away in January when people got laid off. The other thing I think that's more important, and more important to us long term in terms of housing and real estate and everything else that we do, durable goods and whatnot, is 61% labor participation rate. And the fact of the matter is that that's a very hard number at this point in time to change, because you have people who have been out so long that they're just not going to go back to work, period.
Yeah.
They're just not. And the jobs that they could get are gone. They're not coming back, which means they got to get retrained. Well, if you've got people that are 55, 60 years old, and you're expecting them to go and retrain for some job that's in the next, millennia's technology and whatnot, they're not going to do it.
So you have a new number based on an older population in the country then, essentially, that people that aren't working, and you have new people being born into the society. And
I do. I think it's
growing
the
up,
next
coming out of
generation
college
coming up that's going to replace that rate as they come out of school. And our
and you
education
have to have jobs
system
there in order for them
Right.
and
increase
education
that rate.
and education to be able to do it. So you can't have a kid coming out of school with $80,000 worth of debt, with a degree in sociology.
Well, let's pay all their school debt. We'll be right back after this segment. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk. Give us a call, 612-627-8000, or visit us online, realestatechalktalk.com.